This weekend, they were pretty grim. Sam Kinison was dead. They held a memorial service for the bad boy of comedy in Los Angeles this week, and I bet that many in attendance would have said that they initially were not surprised to hear that Sam had met an untimely death. But that was before we discovered the details of his final moments. Our Geraldo Rivera has that melancholy story, as well as the untold tale of the comic's contradictory life.
Wild thing, I think you move me. But I wanna know for sure.
His image, from everything I've read, you know, we'd laugh at it. I think maybe he started the rumors himself so he can hear about his image, you know.
Sam Kinison had finally managed to rise above the self-destructive dead-end road of drinking and drugging that had taken the lives of other comedians like Freddie Prinze and John Belushi. He was on the road to the rest of his life when tragedy struck. Now the comedy world that once celebrated his humor mourns the loss of yet another original.
You don't mean any harm. I don't mean any harm. You're just going home.
He got his life together, and he's ready to get the second part of his life. And it ended. It wasn't fair, you know.
Sam Kinison's life was loud and lewd, and not long enough for anyone who loved him. How should people remember Sam Kinison?
Just remember as a lover and as a giver. And if you were lucky enough, he touched your life.
Sherry Kinison was Sam's sister-in-law and confidant. She knew a different and private side to the man whose comedy was biting sarcasm and bellowing screams.
Wow! I'm not drunk enough yet!
He believed that he got where he was because God led him through his life.
Used to be a preacher.
Sam Kinison's first performances were as a fire and brimstone preacher. It wasn't until his father's death that he announced his new career plans to his flabbergasted family.
It was Christmas of '78. I sat everybody down at the dinner table. I said, you know, I think I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. You know, they were like, they owe Danny Thomas spit take with the soup. You know, yeah, sure.
It took a while for Kinison to hit it big, but when he did, it was with a bang.
Sam Kinison!
Despite his huge success, Kinison never got too big to play small theaters, such as this one, where he performed just 3 weeks before his untimely death.
Yeah. Are you ever going to get married?
Yeah, and if I do, it'll be... Malika and I talked about it. It's just that we know so many people that we'd have to sneak off and do it like in, like either in Hawaii or in Vegas where you can just hit and run because there's so many people...
Just last week, Sam took a third wife, longtime girlfriend Malika.
It really looked like something he really wanted in his heart, you know. And he kept making jokes about it all night. He says, well, I'm going to think about this like a tattoo, why I did it in the morning.
Like his personal life, Sam's career was also headed in the right direction.
And then he started to grow up and realize that, you know, that there's business and there's work, and he started to work with people. He got over that, you know, I'm not going to be commercial, and he started to have fun working. And he loved waking up and going to work.
He loved life, he loved people, and that's painstaking enough right there.
Magic Curry knew Sam from the early days, and he was one of the few people with him at the end.
Well, it wasn't Sam's fault. It was just the other people in the car was driving in the same lane he was. And I guess he tried to stay away and get on the side of the road, and they plowed right into him.
At first, Majid thought his friend was all right.
When I first saw him, I thought he was going to be all right. And he got out of the car, told him to lay down, and he just got himself out of the car and was put him down on the ground. And a few minutes later, I guess he died.
Majid held Sam's hand as his life was slipping away, and he heard the last words of the dying comic.
I guess he was talking to God. I don't know. But it looked like he was in control of himself. He was saying, why? Like if somebody else is answering him, and he kept saying why, and then, you know, I don't want to go. He just, when he said, okay, he just let loose of his hands, and that was it.
We have much more on this story because in a moment I'll be speaking to another outrageous comic, TV and radio personality Howard Stern. He's one of the few people who knew the real Sam Kinison. At New York's K-Rock Radio is Howard Stern. As we tape this television interview, Howard is live on the radio in several major cities across the country. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Geraldo.
Howard, when you first heard that Sam had died in this car crash, tell me the truth. Didn't you think that this was perhaps a relapse, that maybe he was driving drunk or using drugs? Didn't you think the worst?
Well, my first reaction was that, in fact, I didn't react. My first reaction, I'm trying to remember, someone called me up and I just said, oh, Sam's dead. First I thought it was a joke. Then my second reaction was, oh, he must have been to some, party or something and it got wild or something like that. And I thought it was, he probably went out from some abuse, And then to find out that he was, killed in a car accident by a drunk driver, and it was very sad. And I didn't think it was real at first.
After you verified how it happened, was there kind of a melancholy irony, the fact that he was apparently clean, or I don't want to jump the gun on the autopsy, but apparently cleaned up?
Yeah, I mean, because everyone I've talked to expected Sam to be at some wild party. I mean, Sam was known for drinking a lot and taking a lot of drugs. He always was very open about it. That's why I like Sam. I mean, I was attracted to Sam because he was so open and honest about his personal life. So many Hollywood celebrities are such phonies. They don't talk about their personal lives. They don't open up. They want to be treated like some kind of gods, or they want to create some kind of past for themselves that's second only to the Pope. But Sam wasn't like that. He would talk about his abuses, talk about his demons, and it was always great fun that he would bring you into his life like that. So it was somewhat ironic that that he didn't go out that way. It just seemed like such a nutty scenario.
Do you think that the demons continued to possess him even after his wedding last week?
Oh, well, who would know that? I don't know. I mean, Sam was the kind of guy who would come on my radio show, and he was great. He'd come on and he'd say, hey, look, Howard, I got my AA button. He would talk about AA. You're not supposed to talk about AA. That's one of the rules of AA. You don't talk about it. He'd come and say, I met the greatest guys at AA. I met the coolest people. And I'd say, what are you talking about, Sam? You're not supposed to talk about it. He goes, but it was great. It was like a party. He says, and look, I got this button. I've been off alcohol for a month. And then he'd come in and he'd say, well, here's my one-day button. So what do you mean one-day button? He said, well, I was off alcohol for the next day, and then I was back on it. So Sam was the kind of guy who never kept quiet about that kind of thing. He partied all the time and let you know about every minute of it. He was a risk taker. I know you guys drove around together, and you mentioned seatbelts to him once. You want to tell us that? Yeah, I always told Sam to wear a seatbelt. When we went driving with him, myself and Robin, who's on the radio with me, we were in a car with Sam and Malika, his girlfriend at the time, and I said, Sam, put on your seatbelt. And he was like, nah, I don't have to put on a seatbelt. But Sam didn't wear a seatbelt in life. I mean, he did whatever he wanted to do and didn't worry about things like that. I think that's a fitting epitaph. Sam Kinison, a man who never wore a seatbelt in life. How should he be remembered? Was he a good comedian? Was he funny? Sam was one of the best comedians that, I mean, who am I to judge who's a good comedian other than by the fact how hard I laugh? And whenever I saw Sam, I would laugh. I'd laugh very hard. Nobody made me laugh harder. I'd say he was among the top 3 or 4 comics in the country. I rate him that highly. Really? And to me, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison, and, I can't think of too many other people that are that funny. He's a brilliant mind, and the problem with a lot of the programs and articles that are coming out, Geraldo, is that they're sort of treating him like fatty